we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, welcome to episode 67 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. So I haven't put anything out in a little while, man. But like I said, I was telling somebody in the chat, man, it's been a real motherfucker of a couple of weeks. I had mentioned a few weeks back, or I don't know, maybe a month or two at this point, that somebody I'm pretty close with had some health concerns that might have ended up looking highly unfavorable. And as it turns out, highly unfavorable was a drastic understatement. And obviously, I'm not gonna put the details in the street, but when you're staring at the business end of something that's like, yeah, cancer would have actually been better. Like, man, that's a pretty rough deal. I mean, it is, I guess, in a way, I was talking to the guy, and in a way, it's like, yeah, you're in a spot where, like, you got some time, but you're not in a spot where, like, yeah, we're going to go to all these weird, extraordinary measures to try to extend your life. It's pretty much a deal. It's like, yeah, dude, your time is pretty much set in stone. Like, the big clock is running, and you're on the way out. And you talk to a guy and try to say, like, look, in some ways it's fortunate for a guy to know, he doesn't have much time left, and if you're going to leave your mark, this is how much time you have to do it. But it still sucks, dude. It just really sucks. But something shitty comes down the pipe. It doesn't mean the coin clippers are going to stop trying to replace you. It doesn't mean that they're not going to try to turn every other 12-year-old on the planet into a table dancing tranny, or not going to try to import the entire third world to make your neighborhood look like a bazaar market. And so the shenanigans continue, man. Race war stops for no one. So with that, man, it's a downer, but the party don't stop. So we're going to keep on abusing here at the Abuse Hour. And, the guy will always be kept in mind, but that's not going to detract from our greater mission. It's just kind of a real motherfucker that, it's one of these deals that, like, you hear about, maybe you read about, but you don't ever expect to see something like this in real life. Like it's like a movie, dude, like a really bad movie where, like, somebody would get some kind of broke dick news, and then they go on to, like, I'm going skiing in the Alps, I'm going to climb Everest, I'm going to, paint a self-portrait, build a house, whatever. And, and then they find out later, like, well, no, you didn't have any symptoms. What do you think? No, it was just a little mix-up. It was actually for this guy over here. Oh, well, he's dead already. So what are you doing? Like, oh, it just changed my life. Like, yeah, it's like that, except not. Except you kind of see the train coming down the tracks, and, like, yeah, no, man, this is clearly what it appears to be, and you ain't going to walk this off. So it's like, in a lot of ways, like winning the lottery, except in reverse. And it's the damnedest thing, man. For as many good deals as I've had, and I've had some good deals, I've had some extraordinary experiences, and it kind of sucks, just the nature of our thing and the nature of our situation, that we can't really talk about a lot of details. And I try to give you guys as much in the way of details as I can, but when I look back at some of the things that I've been part of or things I've been there for, it's like I can't fucking believe it myself. Like, sometimes it's like a Forrest Gump kind of a thing. Like, yeah, here's that thing, you heard about it, now that over there on the side, that's me right there. Like, what the hell is this? But then you get some kind of a deal like this comes down the pipe, and you're like, son of a bitch, man. Like, how can you keep being here for all this crazy shit? And, in fairness, dude, I ain't going to try to make the shit about me, because it ain't about me. It ain't happening to me. It's just happening near me. It just fucking sucks, is all. With that, though, man, yeah, the party don't stop, man. The party don't stop. And so here at the Abuse Hour, we're going to keep the abuse going. So today, man, I wanted to hit a little bit on, I wanted to review kind of this Rob Rundo thing, man, and we'll get to that here momentarily. And if it should ring a bell for you, and if not, I'll give you as much details as I have. But I wanted to kind of go over some of that. Wanted to touch on a few more staying invisible, staying anonymous, not getting yourself in a tight spot type things. And then lastly, dude, what somebody had put in the chat, somebody had posted this pretty sweet article about, obviously not for my usage and obviously not for your usage, because we're all law-abiding citizens and nobody would ever have a reason to come looking for us. But just as a topic of conversation, vis-a-vis your Julian Assange, your Edward Snowden, your Rob Rundo, if we entertain the idea of what if I was in this man's shoes? If I was playing this like some kind of live action role play, like what would I do? And so where are some countries for which U.S. extradition does not apply? And there's not a lot to work with, but there is a little flex in there, and there are some things to think about, some things to think through, and it's just some stuff to entertain the idea on. But first, man, so this Rob Rundo thing, dude, this guy, for my money, let me just spell it out like pretty plain and simple. So this guy Rob Rundo is one of the co-founders, I guess, founder or co-founder of RAM, the Rise Against movement, which is essentially just a pro-white fitness organization, right? Like, these dudes aren't doing anything crazy. I mean, if they were black and they had on berets and carrying rifles and marching down the middle of a street, people would say, oh, look at this, these good fellows are organizing, and that's lovely to see. But it's not that. It's white dudes who get together, they do workouts, they do a little boxing, they do a little grappling, they went to some protest events, and as it happens then, back in 2017, there was a pro-Trump rally in Southern California, and there were some Antifa dudes that showed up, basically just to do what Antifa dudes always do, show up, start shit, hurt people, and then take off and pretend to be a victim. So these guys, the RAM guys, I guess, showed up, and these Antifa guys started attacking these Trump supporters, and these RAM guys, and again, as I understand it, stepped in and fought some of these guys off. But then it was these RAM guys who got arrested. They all got arrested. Nobody else got arrested. They got arrested and charged with rioting, conspiracy to riot, all this kind of shit. So this Trump rally thing that went on, man, this was back in 2017, and I think this was before the Charlottesville situation. And I don't know if you remember, like, back that far, if you were part of this thing or not, man, but back that far, like, it was a state of flux, dude. Like, you could still get away with quite a bit. You could get away with showing your face in public, but it was like the regular citizens weren't going to come down on you. But it was like, if your name and your face got out there and they were like, hey, it's a white supremacist, like, that was sufficient. Like, anybody that got called a white supremacist in the newspapers was like, yeah, you're basically fired. We're going to come to your house. We're going to make a scene. Now it's like, dude, everybody's a white supremacist. Like, if you're not, beating on the door trying to enlist to defend Israel or to fight for Ukraine, like, you're a de facto white supremacist. So fuck you, right? But back in the day, it was a serious thing. So this rally went down in, I want to say it was Huntington Beach, and I actually got invited to that, man. There was a dude that I knew when I still lived in California, and he called me. He was like, hey, man, there's going to be a Trump rally, and we think there might be some Antifa guys show up. We're going to go down there, just lend some support and shit. And I was like, I'd like to, man. I'd like to be able to. And I had heard that, like, the RAM guys, these are good dudes, they're stand-up guys. But I was like, dude, I don't do that kind of thing, man. I don't go in public because, you do you. If you're comfortable protesting or you're whatever it is, you do you, man. Me, I don't do it, dude. Because to me, my thinking is like this, dude. Like, when you walk along the street, dude, you walk along a sidewalk, do you walk right next to the street or do you walk a step or two away, from traffic, right? Because my thinking is this, right? Like, you leave that little buffer area there. You don't go and stand right next to it, because what if something happens? What if you slip? What if you trip? What if you bobbledy-boobledy? You ever go to a subway? Even worse, man. Like if you ever been to a major city, like especially like in New York or something, you stand way the hell back, right, from where that car's coming by. You stand the fuck back. Because what if someone bumps into you? What if you just have your head up your ass? You're like looking at your phone and you're like, whoa, hey, and you just kind of lose your balance for a minute. What if some dusty African comes by and just shoves you because he's malicious or because he's drunk? We know this happens. All right, or just for kicks. I just want to throw somebody on the tracks. Is this a possibility? Fuck yeah, it is. So when you're in one of these tight spots, you leave a little slack, right? You stay back a little bit. Now, if something happens, you're standing there waiting for the subway, and Tyrone comes by and is like, "Motherfucker," and gives you a shove. You can still like bump. You could probably fall right over if you want, but you're not going to end up straddling the third rail, getting turned into an appetizer. Because you didn't leave any slack in the system. So to me, this is kind of the same thing where these, especially being part of our thing, where these public demonstrations are concerned, is that like, yeah, dude, you can show up and yeah, you have more rights and yeah, maybe you're more physically capable than somebody that might show up to oppose you. Maybe you're extremely physically capable and some guy shows up with a hammer and you can fight him off. Maybe you got 3 or 4 or 10 friends with you. And you're all there and you're all very capable. But what fucking if, man? So to me, like, what if? And this particular situation, I remember thinking it at the time because I had considered, like, dude, these guys are fucking in shape. These guys are solid. I could probably go out here. Things will be fine, dude. I remember thinking, like, yeah, I could see going to this, man. And what could possibly go wrong? Like, I'm in shape. I can fight. These guys are in shape. They can fight. Who's going to fucking try you? And you're not breaking any fucking laws. You're just showing up to show support, which was, the naive take at the time. And, as was the custom at the time, we assumed that we had civil rights. And, well, we found out later that that was mistaken. But, yeah, man, I thought, what could possibly go wrong? And I considered going to this thing. But then I find out later that it's like you show up, these fucking, screwball Antifa dudes start beating on these, honestly, like probably just some mild-mannered Trump supporters, people that just wanted to get together and wave flags and do what those people do. And, unfortunately, falsely tell themselves that they had somebody that supported their interests, driving this train. So these guys start getting beat up, and now these guys step in, and weapons come out. Guys are getting fucking worked, all right? So it becomes a heavy-hitting event, man. It becomes a fucking scrap. And now I look at that, and I'm like, well, if I know that I have a good chance of being in a situation like that, am I going to walk into that unarmed? Fuck no. So now I'm in that situation, and I'm armed. Now what happens? Now I'm not going to be on trial for just... beating a guy up or something. Now it's going to be like, yeah, there's a guy that's really, really fucked up. Like, he might not make it. And that ain't to try to flex some kind of thing like, bro, you don't want me, bro. I'll fucking kill people. But if you're going to put yourself knowingly in a situation, and I'll get back to the topic in a minute, but if you're going to put yourself in a situation that can be avoided where they're like, yeah, there's a pretty good chance, man, that I faced armed opposition here. To walk into something like that unarmed with a fucking excuse of like, yeah, but my rights, bro. I'm just here to exercise my rights, bro. And like, oh, yeah, you crack my fucking head open. Well, haha, the joke's on you. You broke the law. No, dude, they broke your head. And now you got fucking nothing. Now you got a fucking limp and a speech impediment, but you still got your rights, right? But as we've seen here, you come away with a limp and one eye that doesn't work or some kind of shit, but you're still going to get hemmed up for conspiracy to riot. So back to live action, these Ram dudes and this guy Rob Rundo in particular get rolled up and they get charged with conspiracy to riot, which I listened to a talk by Mike Painovich at the rightstuff.biz there, and he did a solo deal and talked through this whole thing. And this conspiracy to riot law, this was a deal that they had passed like back in the civil rights era, governing a lot of the riots and shit that were going on and addressing like the very organized nature of a lot of it. Because, as a lot of us come to find out later, some of these people like this Rosa Parks, and yes, including MLK Jr. and his plagiarized dream speech, like a lot of this was not like some kind of grassroots, like, yeah, man, I'm just tired of my rights being trampled. I'm just trying to support my family and go to work, and then I'm just minding my business, and some cop comes and smacks me across the fucking head, and I walk outside, and there's a guy with a fire hose hitting me. Like, no, dude, it was not like that at all. These were organized efforts to destabilize otherwise functional societies. And if you think that's fucking nuts, get on fucking Google Earth and take a look at places like Selma, Alabama, or Little Rock, Arkansas. All these places that like, fucking segregation is bullshit and it's terrorism. Well, take a look, friend. Take a look at what you got for your efforts and then try to tell me if that was the right call. In any case, so they got this fucking law and they charge these guys with it. And first time, this Rob Rundo goes in there and they're like, yeah, dude, this law is unconstitutional. The way this is written, it would apply in a way that would basically limit anything, like any kind of talk about like, yeah, dude, I'm real pissed off about the state of whatever. And I think we should do something. And 5 guys go out there to just walk down the street with signs. No, this would prohibit that. This would make that kind of thing illegal. So they say, well, no, this is unconstitutional. This infringes on people's right to free speech, right to assembly, this kind of thing. So these charges are dismissed to say that that you violated this law. This law is fucking unconstitutional. It has to go. So they let the guy go, but then they go and amend the law. They changed the law, cut out the parts that were unconstitutional. But so basically, yeah, we fixed the law. We changed the law, so now we can charge you with it. Now, I'm not completely sure how the fuck that is legal. Like, yeah, here's the law. You broke it. Yeah, dude, that law is either unconstitutional or I'm not guilty of violating that or whatever. Okay, well, we went back and changed the law, so now we're going to charge you with it. Like, how the fuck is this not a discussion, But apparently it fucking flew somehow. And anymore, dude, in the States, does anything really need to make sense? Right? Like somebody in a tiny hat or a black robe says, hey, guess what? You're in trouble. Like, does it really fucking matter? Does it matter if you were even there? Like, you're going to have to get in here and take your beating and then explain yourself later because you're going to swing, friend. But so the guy got cut loose and then, those charges got dismissed and he took off to Europe for a while, I guess. And then he got extradited from Romania. So now, mind you, like this guy was not an international arms trafficker. This guy did not murder anyone. They haven't even named anybody that like, yeah, you attacked this guy over here. Like, yeah, this riot thing. Well, here is a victim. Like, show me the body, dude. Show me the victim. Who did I fucking assault? Oh, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we have you on video assaulting someone, not even assaulting, but fighting with someone. Well, did this constitute self-defense? Why was that guy out there with a hammer? It doesn't fucking matter. We're in here for you. So they extradite this fucking guy from Romania. Like, go to all that fucking effort like he's goddamn war criminal or something. Extradite him from fucking Romania, lock him back up. And I think that went down in, I think it was March of 2023, if I remember right. And, so he'd been locked up on that occasion since March 2023. And now, just recently, the other day, I guess by the time this comes out, 2 days ago or something, the judge looks at it and says, yeah, okay, so I see that you have, adjusted this law. Now you want to prosecute this guy for conspiracy to riot and whatever the fuck else, like conspiracy to violate civil rights or hate crimes or assaults or what the fuck ever they're going to charge him with. But this guy says, well, look, whether he may or may not have done those things, this is, I think the term was prejudicial prosecution, where it's essentially like there's 2 people involved in something, say like 2 guys are robbing a bank, and now you say, well, I'm gonna prosecute this guy, but this guy over here, I'm gonna just let him go. I'm just gonna let it go. And I guess a criteria for this thing is that it's got to be people that are in the same situation, and there had been other attempts to, I guess with the January 6th guys, to say like, hey, like look at this Portland situation where people had stormed a courthouse or had invaded a courthouse. These guys are doing the same shit. Why are these guys not in any trouble? And the argument was like, look, dude, that's not similar. It's a completely different situation. It's on a completely different coast. Whether or not you look at it and say it's the exact same kind of a situation. In this case, it's the exact same situation. These Antifa dudes attacked these whatever supporters, rally attendees. These Ram guys intervened. And then I guess these Antifa dudes were attacking them as well. So I think the case could very easily be made that you could either, one, you could say like, look, this is self-defense, dude. Or it's defense of somebody else who's obviously being attacked with weapons. Or you could say that this was mutual combat where I came out here to get into it, and these Antifa clowns came out here to get into it. We decided mutually to get into it. But what you can't do is say, well, no, those guys with hammers over there, they're good to go. You go ahead and take off. You guys owe. You guys are going to be in some trouble. You're all in trouble. Come on in here. So the judge found it this way and said, yeah, no, man, you can't prosecute these guys, but not those guys. So he cut him loose. So apparently these feds had their paperwork in a row and ready to file. And as soon as this guy got cut loose, they filed with Ninth Circuit Court, I guess the California Supreme Court there, and filed requesting this injunction to keep this guy locked up. So charges are dismissed. So at present, the guy doesn't have any charges pending. But now these guys are no, we need to look again. I think this was a bad judgment. So they filed this shit, and I guess this Ninth Circuit Court, I don't know if it's just been filed or if they're actively looking at it or when they're expected to rule on it. But these fuckers put it in there, boom, immediately, motherfucker, look at the state of California, dude. I don't mean that as a pun either. Look at the condition of the fucking place. All right, when you say there was this gag about 11 million illegals in America, get the fuck out of here, dude. If there's got to be 11 million illegals just in California at this point. I mean, that border is goddamn wide open, man. And if you didn't know, the border in California at San Diego, the San Ysidro border, that is the busiest border in the world. Not I don't mean hyperbolically, man, in some kind of weird way. That is the border with more crossings per day than any other border on the planet. Or I don't know how many it is. You look it up on your own time if you want. But I mean, there is a metric fuck ton of border crossings there, and people will come across. I mean, it's just if you go and you see it, man. I mean, it's I've been to that border, and it's, well, you know what? You can see it in, I think it was that movie Sicario. I think they filmed it at that border. And it's just lines of fucking cars, dude. Every day there's Mexicans driving over and back and over and back. And I don't know what the requirements are if you're Mexican to come across, but you try to tell me motherfuckers aren't just driving fuckers across in their trunk. Pick a good day and a day when it's busy and they're just come on. Come across, cleaning lady, come across, do this thing. And tell me that there's not people coming across in trunks of fucking cars, all right? And I'll eat my hat, dude. The same way, something you would see in Southern California is there's actually people that would drive to work in Mexico. I mean, you see all kinds of shit, dude. I knew a dentist that lived in the U.S., but had his office in Mexico, just right across the border. And the deal was that you do the same shit with the same equipment, you provide the same service, but you go over there and you do it for a whole fucking lot less, but you're going to go home with a whole fucking lot more money because you don't got to pay all this malpractice insurance. You don't have to go through all the insurance and give them their fucking cut. Because when you do this through insurance is taking this monster fucking cut, and now this guy gets whatever the fuck he gets. Right, so it's a huge fucking shakedown. So a guy goes over there, he does what he does. You need your teeth fucking fixed, you're getting it from this American dude. He just works, 10 miles down the road instead of right here. It costs you less, it costs him less. Everybody fucking wins. But he's going to drive down there in the morning, and then in the evening he's coming back. But now what's going to stop some guy that say some guy is, whatever, Mexican American, he's going to drive down there. Now what's he coming back with? If he sees the same border guards, if he starts getting a schedule of I know this guy's going to be here. I got a feel for the traffic. I know, what it's going to be like up there. All right, Tuesday, dude, I'll bring back whatever you need. I'll bring back this guy. I'll bring back this pallet of fucking cocaine, whatever the fuck, dude. So you try to tell me with that many millions of crossings going on that nothing fucking shiesty is happening? Get the fuck out of here, dude. And that's just counting the legal fucking avenues of entry. That's not counting any of this shit where just walk on in, dude. I mean, if you go to the coast, because I've seen the coast right there at the California-Mexico border, dude, it's just a little fence that runs I don't know what, 20 yards out into the water. Put your fucking shorts on, swim the fuck around. Just swim around the fucking fence. There's nobody there. Go down the fucking beach. It's right fucking there. Get your cousin Jaime to pick you up on the freeway or some shit. It's a quick fix, dude. Like, it's madness, dude, to suggest that there's any level of border security. But looking at California, man, that place is completely fucked, dude. I mean, there's high schools there where people just don't speak English. All right. I will tell you, and I can tell you this because there's really no dox risk to it. When I was a lot younger, my youngest kid in California had this kid in school, and he'd come home, and I'm like, how's school? I don't know. How's school? I don't know. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? I don't know. And like, he'd tell you something, and like, we did this, we read this, we looked at a book. Like, how the fuck is that all? That's all you did today? Like, you looked at a book? Like, you listened to one story, or you did one activity? He's like, well, I can't understand a lot of it. And then you find out that, like, at this school, like, half the day is in Spanish. So they're reading the book. Well, they're reading, to your kid, but now half of it's going to be in Spanish because they're reading to all the illegal kids. And a lot of places, they would have this shit where, like, yeah, you've got to have an affidavit saying you actually live in this place, in this neighborhood, or that your kids should be going to school here. That doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? That people would do shit like, we saw this kind of shit in the military too, where people are like, bro, let me set up a phone at your house. So basically you get like a cell phone bill, or you take charge of somebody's gas bill, or you take charge of somebody's water bill or their trash or what the fuck ever, just so you have a bill that's going to that fucking house. So now if you got a kid and it's like, yeah, I want my kid to go to this school in this neighborhood, and like, okay, you got to fill out this thing says you live here and bring us some kind of proof of residency. Okay, like what? Like a utility bill or a phone bill or some shit. Okay, here you go. Okay, you're good to go. And so you'd see these school districts with like these fucking niños just lined up out the fucking door, and like, how the fuck motherfucker, I know you don't live here, dude. Or they'll all, gang up. And I've seen this too, where like families, like multiple families, will all be registered at the same shitbox apartment. Like 20 of them are living in, apartment F, the 1-bedroom apartment F, and they all fucking live there. So, I mean, it's fucking insane, dude. It's that place is fucked. So, and that's why I left too. But so, to look at all those fucking problems, not to mention the fucking crime and the drugs and the homeless shit. I mean, just the madness, dude. The place is being fucking gutted. And in spite of all that, you're going to look at this situation and say, this is well and good, but this Rundo son of a bitch, this is top of the ticket, dude. This needs to be handled fucking yesterday. And to make that priority one, I mean, that just speaks to me in terms of what a threat they see this guy as. And in terms of this rise against movement thing, I mean, dude, I had looked into it, and it's, compared to a lot of stuff you see out there, it's very minimally political, quite honestly. It's about guys getting in shape, guys getting off substance abuse, guys staying clean, guys being productive, guys cleaning up their act, finding work, finding a kind of fellowship, a kind of a camaraderie. All good shit, all extremely positive shit. But the idea that, one, that it's white men linking up and doing this shit together, and two, that they're developing any kind of capability of protecting themselves. That right there, it's like, yeah, this is a fucking no-go. I don't want any part of this. And even if they can't make it stick on this guy, the point is that you see it and you're like, dude, I saw what they did to that fucking Rundo guy. I don't really want to be part of anything I mean, I guess last I had heard was he had been released, and I'm not sure exactly how you go and roll the guy back up, because it's like, well, dude, there's no charges. Those charges were dismissed. Like, how do you just go right back to the guy and like, hey, I got to take you into custody for fucking what, guy? Like, what are the fucking charges? I don't know, dude. I don't know. They're trying to decide on the charges still. They don't know what the charges are going to be. They just know that there's going to be charges. We'll change the laws till we can find the fucking crime. And that, I guess, had led to some discussion on like, bro, I wouldn't fucking stick around if it's become very, very obvious that you ain't gonna walk this thing off, that you are going to get fucking hit for something one way or the fucking other, then maybe I would fucking bolt again. Maybe not to Romania because they sent you back last time, but maybe to somewhere else that is, less likely to turn you over. And with that, guys had started floating ideas on like, what are some non-extradition countries and this kind of thing. I looked into some of that, man, and I'll get to more of that in a second. But before I get to that, I wanted to hit a little more on kind of staying anonymous in terms of how people are seeing you. Can people follow you around, making yourself a little bit less of a target? So look, man, the facts are the facts, and I've heard some people talk about shit like, look, man, I don't fucking hide, I don't this, I don't that. Like, look, you got to think of this shit in worst case scenario type terms. Like, wherever the fuck you are, you're in a house, you're in your apartment, you're doing whatever it is you do, man. And now you imagine one of these worst case deals, which you and I have both seen, where like a gang of fuckers shows up outside your house with a bullhorn, with flaming bottles, with all this shit, ready to fuck your place up. And you could say, well, I would call the cops. Well, I will do this. Well, I will do that. Look, God damn it. I can only say so many ways. You don't have any fucking rights. All right? Your opinion about shit negates all of your rights. Like, you don't have to fucking look too far to look at like, hey, look, here's some black guy that beat some white kid to death. Right? Ian Liming, perfect example. Some black dude, group of black dudes beat some white kid to death. Yeah, but was there an excuse? Yeah, but did he say something he shouldn't have said? Did he call him N-word? Look at that kid, Cannon Hinnant. It's like a 6 or 7 year old kid playing in his fucking yard. And some dude walks up, soul brother from across the street, walks up and shoots a kid in the head. Now, you can call that crazy. This isn't even actually about that particular African gentleman. But what did his dad say? What did his parents say? Do you remember? After? He wasn't racist. He was he was friendly to everybody. So what you're suggesting to me then is that there is some remote possibility in your mind that the kid could have deserved it, if he had been suspected of racism. So if your kid under 10, somebody could say like, well, yeah, but was he racist? Well, then maybe that kid deserved to be shot in the head. That's the takeaway there. All right. So when you say like, oh no, he wasn't racist, you're saying like what, he would have been rightfully shot in the head in his own yard, playing in his own fucking yard. If somebody could have said like, oh yeah, that 10-year-old kid, he said N-word one time. He saw it written on a bathroom wall and had the nerve to repeat it without knowing what he was saying. Well, too bad, kid. That's the price of racism. And you're going to pay. Well, I guess that's just how it is in America. All right. That's, part and fucking parcel. All right. So get it through your head, man. You don't have any fucking rights. All right. As soon as you start taking unpopular opinions, your rights go away. With that said, then, let's look a little bit more real quick on some things you can do to stay a little bit in the gray. All right. So one, talked last time about using a VPN. So this hides your digital location, right? So even if John Law, Feds or whatever, they wanted to try and come and hunt you down, they can do it, all right? But it's going to be a little more ass pain for them. So if you're in a spot where it's you shit posting, it's some other guy in the chat shit posting, it's a bunch of guys shit posting, okay, well, that's well and good. If you're not doing something that's like, some kind of actionable, like you're making some kind of threats, like this guy seems really off the rails. He might actually do something fucking stupid tomorrow. And we got to hem this guy up. We got to hunt this motherfucker down. If you're not saying or suggesting that that's you, it's going to be a lot harder for them to say, because these are people too, man. As much as it doesn't seem that way, feds are people too. And they get tired. They got to work long hours. They're inclined to take the easy road on things just like anybody, man. So when you've got all your shit in a row, when you make yourself hard to find, when you've got your VPN on, when you're not giving little breadcrumb details to let people figure out who you are, when you're hiding yourself like that, they're going to naturally take an easier way. It's what people do. It's how people are. And they're going to go, you know what? I could spend the rest of my natural life trying to hunt this guy down, or I could just shift over here and go round up this idiot who's like posting pictures of his house and pictures of a bunch of guns and saying that, he's gonna, whatever, day of the rope, some kind of crazy shit, right? He's gonna do something fucking completely off the res. I could just go roll that guy up. That's a whole lot easier. So in that sense, like we talked about last time, in a digital sense, you want to remain as low profile as possible, dude. Don't give somebody a reason. Don't give somebody a reason to come to your door and ask you, what exactly did you mean by this when you said da-da-da-da-da? right? Don't fucking do that. So in the same way you try to stay low-viz in a digital sense, you got to try to stay low-viz in a physical sense. So what I'm talking about there is like, even if you do go somewhere where you're talking it up, you're sharing some fucking opinions, this kind of thing, what you want to make sure of is that you yourself, anything identifiable as attached to you, like your car or where you live, make sure you minimize that shit as well. All right. I still have a habit of like, dude, if I'm driving from somewhere like back to my house, dude, I'll drive through mystery neighborhoods or take a few extra turns or maybe hop over there and hop back and like stop at a gas station and just sit there for a minute or two just to check it out. And maybe you could call it paranoia. Well, it's paranoia until they show up at your fucking house, dude. Because by then, you might be the hard motherfucker that says like, go ahead and come, bro. I got something for your ass. Dude, I will 1,000 fucking times. Like, I will much, much prefer. Like, if it's got to go that direction, I want it to be on my schedule, dude. I would want it to be like when I decide, like, okay, dude, it's going kinetic today. I don't want to have to make that decision when somebody has followed me back to my house. Or if I go to some fucking rally or some shit, which I don't do anyway. But if I had, and then I go back to my house, that somebody just follows me and sees what I'm doing. All right, so to that end, dude, I say protect yourself. And what I mean here is that one real easy trick you could do is what I'll refer to as the pit stop. So making frequent pit stops, and this can be in your vehicle. This can be while you're cruising on foot. Like if you're going from one place to another, then you just duck into a spot and you see what happens. So what you see, like, and it was interesting because like listening to that talk today on the Rob Rundo thing, Mike Panovich was talking about how he had met up with a few of these guys on a few occasions, like years back, and they had done some stuff like gone to, they had some fires at the beach and stuff. Like in California, you can do this shit. Like they'll have fire pits out there. You go down to the beach with your friends, hang out there for the evening, put a fire on, sit there and yuck it up for a while. But he said he'd gone out there with some of these guys, like some of the Ram guys, and they were out there, and while they're there, there's like John Law is out there fucking sitting in their black SUV. The fucking feds are out there checking them out. Like, well, we're going to follow these guys, see what they fucking do. Dude, I don't give any free passes for that kind of shit, man. So you want to follow me, fucking follow me, Holmes. I mean, with these guys, obviously, it's like they don't give a shit if you notice. Yeah, you notice I'm following you. That's fine, dude. But make them fucking pay, dude. Like, go ahead and get in the car, fucking drive them all over the place. Drive their car through, all kinds of shit neighborhoods. Because they're probably not going to look at whatever you're driving. You drive through the fucking hood. A lot of these places, dude, that you'll notice in the hood, I spent sometimes in and out of some really shitty fucking neighborhoods. And a lot of these places where there's a lot of like drug trafficking or this kind of shit that goes on. Dude, I've been to neighborhoods where they have video cameras set up, like on the street. All right. They'll have their little informant networks, and there's a little guy out there and like whoop whoop, and they'll fucking hooty hoo, and guys will take off running, doors will get locked, windows will get shut, this kind of thing. Driving through some of those neighborhoods, man, make them uncomfortable for a little while. Come on, fuckhead, we're going to the hood. We're going to the ghetto. We're going to drive you around. I'm going to pull you through all these fucking neighborhoods. And that's really one of the takeaways here is if somebody wants to follow you, like they got to go where you go. So you can fucking drag them into shitty neighborhoods. Dude, I drug guys into strip bars once when I was doing some of this shit for training, man. And they're like, stop going to fucking strip clubs. I'm like, what's the problem? You uncomfortable? Like, that's the fucking point of this, dickhead. Like, if you're not comfortable and I am, then who's got an advantage? I do. Get fucked. So, yeah, I digress, though. But, yeah, in terms of keeping that low profile, man, like, keep your, dude, you're a fucking political dissident. Keep your shit on the lowdown. Don't put fucking bumper stickers on your fucking car. Like, why would you put stickers and shit on something that can get destroyed when you're not looking? It may, like, and stickers and shit like that, it makes it easier to follow you. Get rid of that kind of shit, man. Dress a little bit anonymously so you don't stand out. Don't wear shit like, the Doc Martin type shit, the 1.0 type tip. It's a cool look, man. I love the fucking look. I think it's fucking hilarious. But don't do that shit. All right? Don't do it. It makes you fucking obvious. It makes you a target. And it's the last thing we need at this point, because we've already seen that if these fuckers see you, like if you're out there with your big fucking boots and you're like your 1.0 look, which cool as it is, If you're out there Han Solo, dude, now what's to stop these fucks from like, hey, let's go beat the shit out of that guy? They come up to you with a fucking hammer. If you tune up 3 of them, who's going to get arrested? I think the Rob Rundo example fucking speaks for itself, does it not? So I think we beat that into the ground, man. But again, like, anonymously, you don't get to pick and fucking choose. Just like this fucking Navalny thing, man, this fucking Alexander Navalny thing. You know, to what degree that guy was or wasn't like a viable threat, the guy was a dumb fuck, all right? And whether you agree with his side of the fence or his take on the politics, whatever, at the end of the day, the guy got handed a lot of slack. He got probation like 2 or 3 times. And he rolled out to Germany and then like a dumb fuck came back to Russia and started stirring the fucking pot again. So it's like, dude, how many fucking chances do you need? So he got shipped off to the fucking penal colony up by the fucking Arctic Circle. And then whether he got snuffed by the U.S. or by the Russians, which I highly doubt, honestly, or he just fucking fell down dead, died of suddenly, I don't fucking know. But whatever it was happened to him, you brought it on yourself, you dumb motherfucker, because you don't get to play both sides of the fence. If you're going to be a fucking dissident, be a fucking dissident. That means keeping your head down, keeping your mouth closed, plan effectively, speak when it's important. Otherwise, man, fucking don't show your power level. That's the fucking news. All right, so the barrel of laughs for today, man. Somebody put in the chat like an article about, I don't even remember, I don't have it in front of me, man. Sorry. It's in the chat. It's in the fucking chat. Look for it if you want it. But somebody put an article in there talking about countries that don't have extradition agreements with the U.S. And I guess kind of the first thing to put in your pocket, man, is that, I mean, the U.S. in a lot of ways really does rule a lot of the world with just an iron Hebrew fist, man. If you hadn't heard it before, it's something I had talked about before, the idea that, like, if you were going to go somewhere and try to get a second passport and stand up like, you know, I'm going to have my own, my secret Swiss bank account and I'm not going to get taxed by the U.S. government, fucking wrong, dude. 100 shades of wrong. Because the way it is that the U.S. basically has a stranglehold on most of the civilized world, whereby, you know, you go someplace and you get a passport, it says where you're born on the fucking passport. Not like where are you a citizen of or what country is this thing for, yeah, but where were you born? And if it says U.S., then when you walk into whatever bank you walk into and like you get a citizenship in wherever, dude, Jamaica, you know, like you're Jamaican and you get the passports and you go into the bank and you got to open an account and they see that and it says U.S. Like a lot of countries are just like, man, sorry, I can't do shit for you. Like I won't fucking help you out. Like you're gonna have to go get like your driver's license or your local ID or whatever the hell, and then walk in there and try to do it like you're some kind of regular person, because their concern is that the U.S. will put the wood to these countries and be like, hey, you got an American doing some banking there, we want to see what they have. And a lot like most countries will be like, yeah, okay, whatever you say, boss. So they're not gonna give you any play. So like this idea of like, I'm gonna get another passport and I'm gonna be a citizen of somewhere else and then Uncle Sam can't touch me, ha ha ha. Like, yeah, wrong, dude, you are mistaken. So in that sense, looking at, if you were, you know, like we were talking about hypothetically, this idea with the Rob Rundo or with the Julian Assange or any of this stuff, if you were going to look at like, where could I haul ass to, you know, like say whatever, you're hard and raw on the run from the law and you want to hypothetically get away, then where could you go? There ain't a whole hell of a lot out there, but this article listed some places, and I wanted to talk through a few of these spots, you know, give some things to think about, but also some of the things that are a little bit, I don't want to say outside the lines, but just not, what's out there is not the same as the way you think of it. You know, kind of like if you think of like a legal system or a hospital, especially a hospital, and you're like, oh, what does a hospital entail? Oh, it's this. Dude, go to a hospital in like somewhere in Asia, dude, you're going to have an entirely different impression. All right. And so there's a lot of that where this is involved. So this, right off the bat, like this Rob Rundo thing, this guy rolled out to Romania And I think that's where that Andrew Tate balloon head and, whatever anybody thinks about him, the guy's, he's just kind of a fucking dork for my money, man. I don't know what that guy's fucking deal is. The guy's like, he was like living that high life, living that baller life in Romania or whatever, and got rolled up. But I think the thing to take away there, especially from that thing, is money talks, dude. Women like money. So the guy was in Romania, not Rob Rundo, but this Andrew Tate thing. If you remember that, and if you're not too aware of it, you got to appreciate the differences in how far you can get in an economy, depending on, the money in your pocket. So you got dollars American in your pocket, like a lot of places in Asia, a lot of places around the world. And certainly Eastern Europe, the dollar goes a long fucking way, and that's going to come up later. But I think the mistake this fucking guy made is the same mistake a lot of military dudes make when they go to Asia the first time. And there's women like women who are in shape, like young for them, if you're into Asian women, which I'm not especially, but just the same, young and in shape. They're their version of hot, okay? They're hottest women. They're throwing themselves at you because you are filthy fucking rich. All right, so you look at some rich motherfucker driving around in the U.S. that's like, I got like a big penthouse fucking that overlooks the park or whatever, and I got a fleet of Benzes, and this is rich son of a bitch, and women are like, he's got a really nice personality. And you're like, this fucking guy, you just like him because he's rich. You want those Benzes. All right, you go somewhere else, it's like, they like you because you can afford running water. He's that high rolling motherfucker. Like, he goes to the Burger King. He's got that running water. He's got that air conditioning on demand. I can air condition whenever the fuck I want. That's you, dude. High roller. And I think the mistake Andrew Tate made was like, yeah, dude, I'm a good looking baller ass motherfucker. I'm in East Block, dude, rolling deep, and I got all manner of hot bitches up on my tip and shit. I can't even do his accent because it's like this thoroughly irritating combination of like quasi-British / fucking Canadian / the 56% or whatever, and it irritates the shit out of me just to hear it. I don't like hearing people talk. I look, Leafs, I love you, man. Day of the Rake, I'm your guy, but that accent, it's gotta fucking go, man. It's gotta fucking go. And Andrew Tate smoking a cigar and like shit talking some good looking blonde woman that's like trying to get a leg up because basically she's a hooer. But, don't try to sell me on this, Holmes. But it's like the mistake a lot of dudes make that you go to one of these shitbox countries where the dollar is so fucking strong, and, you walk out of there thinking that you're fucking rich, smart, and good looking, like you got your shit together. Like, no, dude, you're still the same fucking schnook you were, a few days ago. Just now you have a fuck ton of money. So, long story short, fucking Andrew Tate got pinched, sent back out of Romania. Rob Rundo got pinched and sent back out of Romania. And I don't know, maybe there's something to Romania. Maybe it's the shit. Don't know. Never been. I did read up a little bit on East Bloc though, with that article there, and it lists out like all these East Bloc countries, and all of them are listed as having extradition agreements with the U.S., with the exception of Andorra. In Andorra, so like check this shit out. I looked this shit up. So the countries that don't have extradition treaties, it was like Andorra, Kosovo, and then I want to think that Switzerland will tell them to get fucked because Swiss are just that fucking way. Vatican City, but like you ain't getting no long-term stay in a lot of these places. So looking at like the thing I wanted to hit on here, like especially where Eastern Europe is concerned, is one, like a Europe type situation would be ideal because you're a white dude and you're on the run. You're going to be able to speak the language, but a lot of these places like Switzerland or France or Germany, your dollar ain't going to go very fucking far, man. So it already costs a lot, right? And doing any kind of secret squirrel shit, like when you see like James Bond and shit, like high roller, like that's why they're rolling high like that, because this shit is expensive, dude. Like trying to live 2 lives, 3 lives, this shit is fucking spendy. All right, so you're like, you stay in a place, you got to roll to another place, maybe somebody's going to dime you out, you got to pay somebody off, you're always fucking moving. this shit ain't cheap, dude. So something like, your average European country, it's not going to fucking go well, dude. You're going to want that financial advantage. So trying to step into like, I had read that like France will give the U.S. a hard time. Poland, like Roman Polanski had set up shop there. And, fucking pedo or rapist or whatever that he fucking is. And that makes it hard for the U.S. to get at him. But, ideally, you're not a rich person, so what you want is one of these places that's like, no, dude, it's not a matter of paperwork, it's not a matter of deliberating, it's a matter of like, we don't do this shit. We don't do this shit here. So, like, Andorra, I looked at that, and that's right between France and Germany, or is it fucking France and Spain? It doesn't fucking matter, really, because you can't fucking afford it. Long and short. So looking at it, it's like this little ass place, and these people's deal, I guess, is like, yeah, you can't become a citizen of Andorra. Like getting residency in Andorra is like years of dick dancing, apparently. Like you're always on the bubble. Like it ain't gonna fucking happen for you. So don't fucking even ask. Some of these other places, places like Montenegro, places like Serbia, like Bulgaria. Like these places, these are probably places that are good. They would be like, man, I don't give a shit. Like, it says there's an agreement, but like the U.S. maybe they call and they're like, hey, can we have this asshole back? Man, I don't know where he is, dude. Or like, you give the local guy a couple $100 and it'd probably be like, man, I didn't see shit, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Like any chance to like shove it up the U.S.'s ass and be like, yeah, sorry, dude. Why don't you send me a whole bunch of paperwork and a bunch of filing fees, and I'll see if I can dig up your man. And like, yeah, nah, couldn't find him, dude. Go ahead and resubmit in a few years or a few months, whatever suits you, whatever you want to pay for. That I could see something like that. So something like Kosovo, I ain't never been to no Kosovo, but I see that it's a place that doesn't have an extradition treaty. And then, of course, you've got Russia. Russia, though, very cold, very difficult language to learn. But again, Russia, dude, I have seen where they've got all this stuff where like they want traditionally minded people. They're like, come fucking over here, dude. So if you wanted to set up shop, you were like on the run, dude. I mean, they took Snowden in, and it's like one more chance to be like, fuck you, Uncle Sam. Like, I'm not going to do shit for you. I'm not going to fucking help you out. And, to that extent, you could kind of see it as like, yeah, maybe this would be a fucking ideal option, hypothetically, if you're Edward Snowden or Julian Assange or somebody that's on the fucking run. If cold is not your thing, Georgia, not the fucking state, but the country, Georgia is another place that doesn't have an extradition treaty, and that place is just east, I think, of Turkey. And the deal with Georgia was like, obviously that was a former Soviet satellite state, and it's a little bit, I had read about it previously, and it is pretty rough, as I have heard. I'd read some stuff where people are writing about it, about like, oh, everybody's friendly, real estate's cheap. Like, so this is a place where your dollar goes real fucking far. But like anything, this is a place where like you're going to have to really kind of have your head on a swivel, dude. Like it's a faraway place. If you check it out, like their writing system, it looks like Lord of the Rings type shit. Like it's a trip to look at. I don't know shit about their language. I know a lot of people there speak Russian. I don't know if it's an official language. So, if you could speak Russian already, or you I don't know, if you have some kind of knack for that shit and you want to try to pick up Georgian, maybe that's for you. But again, it's a place with no extradition treaty, so maybe it works in your favor. Shifting away from Europe, man. Well, I mean, there was Vatican City as well, but I don't know. You ain't getting set up in no Vatican City, man. Get the fuck out of here with that. But shifting away from Europe, looking at like South America, I didn't see anything that didn't have an extradition treaty with the U.S. But what I would say is again, depending on where you go, there's probably some places that are like, yeah, officially we do, but a few dollars pointed in the right direction, and that paperwork gets lost, man. And Also, too, I think something, about South America or Central America would be that, the U.S. has got to think to look for you there. And I don't know, and definitely this is the case with Eastern Europe. I don't know to what degree passports are checked at the border. So probably, I know that like I drove from Germany to Poland once. And dude, I got to tell you that story next time, man. I'll tell you the Oktoberfest Part 2 story next time, and it's a real shit show. But when I drove from Germany to Poland, I know there was no fucking border checkpoint, and I wasn't like taking no fucking back road. Like I was cruising, and you're on the fucking Autobahn, and you're hauling ass, and like you're doing your Autobahn thing, man. 5 fingers of death. Fucking kill yourself if you want. But you're hauling ass, and then like that nice smooth road turns into like ribbed for her pleasure, man. Like your fucking rocky road, ba-blam, ba-blam, ba-blam. Like there goes the fucking suspension. You're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, dude, you're in Poland now. That's what the fuck. But there's no fucking border checkpoint. There's no nothing. You're just driving, and now the road is shit, and the lights are out, and there's bullet holes in the buildings, and you're in fucking Poland. Congratulations. So in a lot of these places, you got, most places it's 90 days when you get there. Like your initial visa is 90 days. If I was on the run, I would get a look at the place and like get a feel for like what's the fucking border scene like here, man. So like if you come back, like when you fly into a place, everything is so fucking tightly controlled, like everything is stand in fucking line. We're gonna look up your ass with a microscope. We're gonna scan your passport. We're gonna scan you. Like, dude, I went on a fucking vacation thing to Mexico. And these fucking people, man, like it was like you're fucking trying to be beamed aboard the goddamn Enterprise, man. They got you locked in a little glass box and they're looking at the thing and looking at you like, asshole, don't act like I'm smuggling something into fucking Mexico. Get the fuck out of here with this weak shit. But, then they finally let you in. It was the same fucking thing with Canada, dude. Canada, not a real fucking place, dude. And Leafs, again, I'm sorry, And again, day of the rake, give me a call. I'm your fucking guy. But it's not a real fucking place. And it was the same thing, man. They're looking up my ass with a fucking, maybe it's just me. Maybe that's the problem, right? Ask enough stupid questions, get enough right stupid answers. But, they're looking up my ass like I'm trying to smuggle maple syrup into the fucking yard gnome capital of the world. I don't fucking think so. But when you drive in, apparently like a lot of this shit just goes away. Like they're just going to look at your passport and wave you on down the fucking line. So if you drive into one of these places or if you fucking fly in or whatever the fuck, it would seem like you could, take a look at what's my situation here. And can I just drive back to the border and, show the guy my passport? He's like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Stamps your passport. Yeah, you're good for another, 90 days or whatever. Or is he going to put your thing in the fucking system? And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're a fucking wanted man or whatever. And if that's the case, then now is the time for you to fucking skedaddle. So maybe in that situation, it would be a good deal where if you were hanging out at like a border of, Montenegro and Kosovo, or Kosovo and Macedonia, I think was another one that didn't have an extradition treaty. And I don't know how dodgy Macedonia is, but, some places like that where you're like, the border of Panama and fucking whatever, Colombia. Like, does anybody here give a shit? Will you just look and ominous and stamp the fucking thing and I can get out of here? And if that's the case, man, then like you could be good to go indefinitely. They're like, yeah, wanted man, schmonted man. Who gives a fuck? Looking at Asia, dude. Asia, there's a lot, and Asia's a place I've spent some fucking time. And I'll tell you this about Asia, dude. A lot of people will look at Asia as like you can do goddamn near anything you want. And in a lot of places you can. Like that's the vibe. You can do goddamn near anything you want. I was in one Asian country and we were hanging out with these gangster fucks. And one of the guys I was working with asked one of these dudes just for kicks, like, hey, just for kicks, like if I wanted to buy a person, like say I wanted to buy a girl, like, is that possible? And this dude was like, without batting an eye, he's like, $3,000, I'll get you a girl. I'm like, what the fuck? Like this motherfucker was serious. Like, I get you a girl, $3,000. But then he goes on and he's like, I get you a girl. She's your responsibility now. Like you feed her, you take care of her. Like you're fucking buying a horse or some shit. I'm like, God damn, dude. Like, but these fuckers are train wreck serious. So there's like a lot of this shit where it feels like you can goddamn do anything you want. But at the other end of the spectrum is the fact that in a lot of these places, they actually have really strict laws. So what they don't have is like laws about selective enforcement, or like what must be enforced, or what can be allowed to slide. So in like a lot of people, I will say, don't know that like in Thailand, prostitution is actually a crime. So I've been through Thailand, and if you've been through Thailand, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like this is the only real tourist attraction here. I go for the diving, like bullshit, dude. Like I've been on fucking exercises there, and like that's what fuckers are over there about. Like all of the fucking weirdos in Europe, like they're about this shit. So fuckers go over there to get their girly show on and shit. And that shit is fucking rampant. It is everywhere. And I think, speaking specifically of this, a lot of people, I think in the West, when you say prostitution, it's definitely not what you see in the States. And I think it was like this in Europe, and it's definitely like this in Asia. Like it's definitely like target of opportunity. Like there's not some designated part of town, or there's not like certain bars you go in. Like it's literally everywhere. So like if you're at the hotel and the girl behind the desk, and this is Asia, dude, from fucking Europe, I don't know if it goes on like that. I don't think it does, but definitely in Asia, if you go to the hotel, like the girl behind the desk sees you're American, and sees like you probably got an ass ton of money, she'll try to tell you where she's going to hang out later. And she'll be like, yeah, come see me later. I go to the whatever bar. And if you're at the whatever bar, she's gonna be available for a price. All right, like, dude, I walked into a Dunkin' Donuts and a chick tried to sell me some ass in an Asian country. So like that shit is rampant. But again, it's illegal. So someplace like Thailand, it's illegal. And the point of that is that like I don't have to make a bunch of specific laws, a bunch of this, a bunch of that. Basically, everything is illegal. And if you piss me off now, I can crack your fucking skull for you. All right, so it doesn't have to be like, as long as I do this, I never do that. Like, no, dude, you got to be real fucking cool. Because if these people decide they don't like you, they can just fuck you up. And especially in Asia, throughout Asia, I will say that like if you get into it with a local somewhere for some reason, there's none of this fucking equality under the law shit. Like if you're over there for a long time and you're burning through fucking dollars, at some point like that shit's going to level out and you're going to be like another face in the fucking crowd. But these people are going to be like, yeah, that's that fucking foreigner over there. Like I don't need this motherfucker here. Like you're not spending big money. You're not a cash cow no more. So you bring nothing to the table. You're just a fucking foreigner. And they're not going to be cool to you. So you stick out like a sore fucking thumb. And if anybody ever comes asking, like, hey, where's the American? You're the American they're talking about. They're going to know who they mean. Like, oh, yeah, he stays up the road in the shitbox hotel, or he's in that fucking hut down the beach, or whatever the fuck. Like, you can't really hide in a place like Asia. But, should you elect to, looks like Vietnam and Cambodia are countries without extradition treaties. Even among people that like dudes that would go to Thailand, and in the military, there's like a lot of dudes that'll bounce out to places like Philippines, Thailand, this kind of shit, live like kings for a while, come back, whatever. Even those motherfuckers call Cambodia the Wild West, dude. And I know a guy that lived in, like, he went to Thailand, like he had never been, he had done a lot of work in Europe, and then he adjusted to where he was working in Thailand, and he went around the fucking bend, and he was like, dude, I'm getting out, I'm fucking living here. I'm like, all right, bro, whatever you're into, not my cup of tea, fucking whatever. So this guy moved to Thailand, and it wasn't wild enough for him, because this guy was around the bend, dude. Like, this guy's nickname was Bipolar. So like this fucking guy, like, he was a real nice fucking guy. And let me fucking say it this way. So this guy, he was a real nice guy, and he was like, I guess he was kind of a skinny dude early on in his career. And this guy was in my community, and he was kind of like a smaller, skinnier guy. And he went on a deployment, like he had attached to a team that was like working through like Africa, working in Europe. And he came back, and I guess this guy was married to a bartender. I never met this woman, but he was married to this bartender chick. Came back and finds out like she's pulling three-ways and just an absolute whore, which is not as uncommon as you might imagine. But divorces this fucking broad, gets taken to the cleaners, as you do in the military, comes up broke, and it just like flipped a switch in this fucking guy's head, man. So like he would still be, once in a while, like he'd still be a pretty nice guy. But this fucking guy, like, he'd get a couple drinks in him and he might be a real nice guy, but then the switch would flip and he'd just be like, whap. And he was like, motherfucker. And what sucked was like, so this guy got on the juice, so he like bulked up real fucking big. And he was like a real pretty motherfucker too. And like I had said, like the special ops community, there's a lot of good looking fucking dudes, man. Like I ain't no fag or nothing, but like there's a lot of pretty motherfuckers. Like you know the type, man. Like these dudes at Women are like crossing the room like, hi, I just wanted to meet you. And you're like, God damn it. It ain't me, but there's a lot of those cats. And this guy, this bipolar dude, he was definitely one of them, man. So like this guy would be out and, you know, you're having a few drinks and like women are coming up to him and like, hi, I like your fucking t-shirt, or like, I like your busted up Adidas that he was always wearing. And he's like, yeah, fucking whatever. And we'd start taking bets like, how long is it going to take, man, until he pisses this broad off. And like, we'd be having beer bets of like, I'll buy you a drink if he goes 20 minutes. If he can stand there for 20 minutes without pissing anyone off, I'll fucking buy the next round. This guy wouldn't last 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And it wouldn't matter what it was, dude. It could be about anything. Price of tea in China, and he'd have some woman in tears. You stupid bitch. You don't know shit. You're a fucking moron. And like, goddamn, man. Like, take a fucking wrap off. Dude, she's trying to go home with you right now. And he's like, no fucking way. I'm not running a goddamn soup kitchen over here. Okay, pal. But he'd get thrown out of places, man. And you'd catch up to him at the next place. And he's got some other woman in a corner. Like, and another thing, I'll tell you. And like, it was priceless. But that guy, he ducked out, man. He got out and he ducked out and he was in Thailand and it wasn't crazy enough. So he moved to Cambodia. And last I had heard, he had bought a bar of all fucking things. Like, bought a bar in Cambodia and was doing whatever you do. And then for whatever reason left there and moved back. And I hadn't talked to him in a long fucking time. But I heard from him and he still sounded crazy. I mean, he sounded older, but he still sounded crazy. But he was like, yeah, man, fucking Cambodia. Fuck that place. I'm like, okay, yeah, good enough. But, so yeah, Cambodia, you can do that if that's your thing. And if you're just crazy enough, it might work for you. But I'll tell you what, dude, dudes I see go that route. And I've seen a lot of dudes do the fucking Southeast Asia fucking tip, like buy houses, fucking wife up these bar girls, whatever. These dudes never come out sane and they always come home crazy. All right. I mean, I know a lot of dudes that died real fucking young. Guys that died in their 40s looking like they were fucking 70. Because they were living that Southeast Asian bar girl lifestyle, man. That shit is not savory. So, again, man, on the run from the law, you fucking choose your own adventure. But me, even having been, I mean, there are probably some towns in a certain Southeast Asian country I could go into, and I probably still know people there, and they'd probably be happy to see me. I would still probably not go, dude, because that shit will tack years onto your life. And there's a lot of fucking weird stuff that goes on, man. So thank you, but no. Africa, I looked at that. And Africa, dude, Africa, brave Africa. I can't say I'm interested. There's a few places there, but I mean, just Africa in and of itself, dude. The place is dodgy as fucking. It's hot as hell. I've been to a few places in Africa. And talking here, sub-Saharan Africa. All right, because we'll skip to the fucking Arab countries in a second. But sub-Saharan Africa, do not want, dude. I've been to a few places there, and it is hotter than fuck, dude. I was in Djibouti in December, and I was sweating like a fucking nun in a whorehouse, dude. It was awful. So, no thank you. No thank you, and then some. As far as, you know, Africa, okay, it is technically Africa, but some of these Arab states, places like Saudi, places like UAE, these places will most certainly tell the U.S. to just get fucked, all right? But something like that, a UAE or a Saudi, like that is expensive living, depending on, you know, what you're doing. So if you can get over there, if you've got a marketable skill, so if you can work remotely, or if you've got some kind of way that you can work there, or if you're an Arabic linguist, or really, you know, there's probably a handful of like expat type companies if you can link up there, but you got a little time to do it if you have like 90 days on your visa or whatever. But UAE, this could be a high standard of living, or Bahrain, you know, or Saudi. These are places where you can achieve a high standard of living, and whether or not you could find gainful employment or a way to stay alive, that's sort of up to you. Apart from that, man, it's really tough going out there. If it was me just Han Solo, I would probably look at something like a Russia or a Georgia. I would probably opt for Europe just to be around Europeans, man. Asians, like, you can deal with them. And like, a lot of Asians, nothing against them, dude. Like Brunei, another place that is no extradition treaty, but it's a Muslim country, and I can't remember what the language is there. It's something like Myanmar type language, dude. Like one of those clunky Asian languages, man. And I honestly have no interest in learning some shit like that. And I don't know what the price tag is on trying to stay alive in a place like Brunei. So, again, that's your fish to fry. But, if it was me, I would probably, maybe for a short term, like until the heat blows over, maybe try to look at something like a Central or South America where you could lay low and bounce around and move back and forth and hopefully just sort of avoid the all-seeing eye. Or if I was just absolutely sure, like if I'm an Ed Snowden or if I'm a Julian Assange and I know like I'm in bad fucking shape, I would probably look at like a UAE or a Bahrain. Bahrain is not bad. I've been to Bahrain, dude, and it's if you haven't heard about Bahrain is like a little island off the coast of like Saudi, and it's not a proper little island. I mean, it's its own country, right? But the idea there is it's a place where Allah can't see. So these Arabs will go over there and get all fucked up. They'll drink, but they don't know how to drink, right? And I ain't saying like be a professional alcoholic or some shit, but they'll get all fucked up. They'll get all fucking loopy and wacky. Then they'll want to fight you, and they're not jacked. They're not naturally big people. So it turns very fucking weird very fast. There are some places, like there's some decent restaurants there. There's some decent bars there. The Gulf airline stops through there, and there'll be what they call gas girls, Gulf Air stewardesses. And there was, like, with us, there was like a longish running relationship anyways, between Gulf Air stewardesses and dudes in our community. And, so you're not completely without an option to, chase white women if you're out there on your own. But again, trying to stay alive in a place like that, I don't know what the price tag on that would be or what the paperwork would look like to like, hey man, would it be cool if I stayed? Is there anywhere I can work? I don't fucking know. Moving along though, if it was me, I would honestly probably look at something like being able to bounce around the spots in an East Bloc, like move through Kosovo, through Moldova, through Greece, through Albania, Montenegro, Serbia, and all this kind of thing. Maybe hang out in Croatia a little while, this kind of thing. But, keeping an eye on the passport situation where like, yeah, man, I'm just here for the stamp, baby. Just like give me the stamp and let me fucking cruise back in here. So other than that, dude, that's about the size of it. And if you got any kind of cool input or if you've heard anything different, man, like put it in the chat. But until next time, I think I've sucked up enough of your time, dude, and I will let you go. But until next time, dude, leave this shit where somebody can find it. And if you like this shit, feel free to share it with a friend. Like we always say, the world needs more people like us. But until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon and keep your neck out of the noose. I've been Coffee, and these are my takes.